Hey guys, and welcome to Unhinged, your one-stop shop for all entertainment news and all that jazz. I am Kiriakos Vilchez, aka Eternal Jester, and yes, I am back from the dead.
It's alive! Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
No, not really, but I have returned. Yes, I have taken quite the hiatus again from this series due to some side projects and episode production delays, but here we are with a super duper episode with a bunch of topics I will be discussing. Yay! Cue applause. First things first, if you watched my last episode, you were probably a little confused about this one. Yes, I said that episode 6 would be my Jack the Ripper episode, but unfortunately the release date for that episode has been pushed back. It will be the first Unhinged history episode instead, part of a sister series where I discuss historical subjects here on my channel, including the Salem witch trials, Napoleon, the Battle of the Little Bighorn, and more. So sorry, but that episode and the series in general is still in development. So never fear, dear fellows. The debauchery of good old Murderous Jack will be examined at a later date. TBA, TBA, TBA. How many times can I say that I'm going to stop? So stay tuned for that. First up, some Marvel news for you guys. Mr. Jared Leto has confirmed that is it Jared Leto? Jared Leto? I call him Leto. Anyway, Jared Leto has confirmed that he is set to star in Sony's Spider-Man spin-off film, Morbius. Leto even shared a photo of the cover of 2002's Marvel Now graphic novel, Morbius the Living Vampire, on his Instagram profile. It's now being rumored that the comic will provide inspiration for Sony's take on the blood-sucking villain. Not much is known about the project except that it will be directed by Daniel Espinosa with a screenplay by Burke Sharpless and Matt Sazama. There is no release date, but with Tom Hardy starring in the upcoming Venom movie coming out later this year, it appears as if they're doubling down on tackling some of Spidey's most iconic baddies. My only question is, who will be Morbius's antagonist? Okay, now I've got a little bit of video game news for you. Well, it's actually movie news about a video game, so it's a facto, tomato, whatever. The one and only Jim Carrey, yes, the Jim Carrey, is set to star in the Sonic the Hedgehog live-action CGI adaptation. Yes, you heard that right. Mr. Carrey will be in Paramount's film about the classic Sega hero, and he will be the notorious Dr. Robotnik. Opposite James Marsden as Sonic, Jim Carrey will play Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik in the movie slated for a 2019 release. So some big video game movie news here, people.
Of course!
So Supergirl Season 3 recently had its very climactic finale. The Reign arc has come to an end, guys, and the show seems to have really tried to tie up all loose ends for the storyline for the season. Now, I felt that this arc had a good run, and even if the writers rushed to give it a solid finish, I think that we've kind of had enough of terraforming world killers and Kryptonian cults and whatnot. So just to recap a little bit concerning the final episode of Season 3, Marin sacrifices himself to stop the Earth from turning into a crypto disaster sandwich, but shares an emotional farewell with Jean, his son. Serena and her witch friends are stopped. Brainy can't go back to his time in the future because killing Pestilence in our time saved his distant relative, hinted as the one and only Brainiac, who is attempting to wipe out his AI race and seek total domination. Thus Win needs to go to the future in his stead. Sam is separated from Rain and beats up on the baddie, and Rain is defeated by Kara and using some mysticism / time travel. James Olsen reveals to the world he's Guardian. Kara and Mon-El share another super sad moment as she can't return to Argo with her mother Allura because Earth is her home.
You know, for a moment there I thought that maybe this was my place.
And he in turn tells her he can't even stay with her because he needs to return to the future to protect the Legion. Some good feeling moments pass between the DEO members and Kara and Alex, and yeah. Oh, and Lena Luthor keeps some Harun-El and is seemingly continuing to experiment with it in her lab. So yeah, that's just trying to summarize this overstuffed episode, guys. Really overstuffed. Like a DiGiorno's pizza with all that cheese in the crust, okay? But this episode pretty much settles all the characters into their new roles to come, and prepares us for the direction Season 4 is going in come October. Now, interestingly enough, the end of this episode, titled Battles Lost in One, sets up a new nemesis for the Girl of Steel, the arrival of the supposed Red Daughter, taking inspiration from Superman Red Sun, a 2003 graphic novel that spanned 3 issues and explored an alternate reality where baby Kal-El lands in a Ukrainian farm instead of Kansas, spawning a future Soviet Superman who goes up against the agents of the US government. Teases where the show might be going. Now this Supergirl version, of course, will stray from that in several ways. For one, this is not a baby Kara that landed in Ukraine, it's Siberia in this one by the way, but a replicated Kara spawned due to Supergirl utilizing time travel to stop Rain without killing her after failing the first time via the Dark Valley thanks to the Harun-El. And this Kara double wrapped in a blanket because she's, you know, naked, appearing at the Siberian border. And clearly the Russians are intrigued. So what does this mean, guys? Is the Kara Zor-El double going to be the new big bad? And what of the future-altering act of eliminating the threat of the Blight? Brainiac being hinted at for the reason Mon-El and the Legion must fight to save the future, thus saving the present? Time travel's weird. Will Mon-El and Kara get back together? Alright, so it's a lot to digest, guys, but here are a few theories of mine that I think will pan out in Season 4. First thing, the Kara double is the Red Daughter, obviously, okay, and will most likely follow a parallel, although strikingly different path that will ultimately lead her into conflict with Supergirl. How that transpires will probably be government-related, seeing as this show likes to touch on current events and weaves them into the narrative of the show itself in certain ways. Maybe America versus Russia, but with corruption on both sides, possibly. A fight between good and evil, but not so black and white as it seems. My only hope is that they don't drag out the story and keep it fresh. I don't want a ending of the Reign arc repeat. Now when it comes to the Legion and Brainiac, I'm certain that this wasn't just some Superman Easter egg the writers and producers decided to throw in there for fan service. Yeah, no. He'll play a part in Season 4. Brainy using this as the main reason to swap places with Winn to spare himself and give the future a chance. It teases a confrontation between Brainiac and Supergirl somehow. So whether we see him or he indirectly affects events in the present, Brainiac will come into the fray somehow. So my guess is that when Winn comes back to the present from the future, maybe things didn't go as planned. And Brainiac's one tough villain, guys, so I doubt the Legion will defeat him with ease. Maybe there are casualties, maybe even Legion members. Whether this Brainiac has any connection to the one in Sci-Fi's Krypton series remains to be seen, but I think that this might be an interesting trick up their sleeve if they use him correctly. And what of Mon-El and Kara? Is their sad romance doomed to be just that? A sad romance? Well, seeing as he and Imra, also known as Saturn Girl, are kaput, in terms of marriage of course, all that's stopping them from reuniting and maybe rekindling things will be due to a new threat. Never pegged Brainiac as a love doctor, but hey, he gets the job done. Bringing people together. But seriously, okay, fans of hashtag Caramel, see how I threw that in there? Hashtag Caramel, gotta talk to the fan base here. Were up in arms when Mon-El, for the second season in a row, had to go away. The guy is like the Lone Ranger, always riding off into the sunset, but it's space instead. I feel like the Kara-Mon-El relationship will be explored more, but don't panic, just a theory, okay, just a theory, may end in tragedy, okay? Maybe he dies in the future at the hands of Brainiac and Winn comes back to break the bad news. Or maybe he doesn't, who knows? Lastly, Lena Luthor will be bad. And by bad, I mean she's going to go full Luthor in this upcoming season. Throughout the third season, we saw her as three-dimensional, torn, sometimes a hero, sometimes not, sometimes skating the line of villainy. Yet her dark side was always there. just below the surface. So I think Lena will be the Lex of the season. Heck, she may even be the catalyst for a surprise introduction to Lex Luthor in the Arrowverse. Imagine that, Luthor siblings up to no good together. It's interesting to think about. So I just can't see them using Lena like they did in Season 3 again. It will be bland and go nowhere, and Katie McGrath is too good of an actress for that, so that's for sure. They can't do that. If they do, I'll be mad. I'll accept it. When Supergirl returns with its 4th season on October 18th, we'll see if some of my theories ring true, or they all don't. Then I'd be quite the fool, won't I? And the laughter will follow. So, I recently saw Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and I have to tell you guys, it was pretty good. Without going into spoilers, it's certainly a different kind of Jurassic movie, but I think longtime fans of the franchise will appreciate what direction they're trying to go in. I absolutely love the whole island is blowing up portion of the movie, and the growing relationship between Owen Grady and Blue throughout the movie itself. I felt like the movie lost quite a bit of traction in the middle, losing momentum in bursts, or kind of painstakingly trudged along, kind of like an old-fashioned locomotive. But the third act made up for it, tapping into the Spielberg-esque feel of the first Jurassic Park with the scenes involving the terrifying Indoraptor. I highly recommend you guys go see this dino saving / don't get eaten by the dinosaurs again flick, because it really is a good movie. It's not as good as Jurassic World, I'm going to admit that. It falls way below Jurassic World, but has Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard and Blue and Rexy and plenty of action, and Jeff Goldblum returning as Dr. Ian Malcolm, even if it's more of a cameo, and yeah, just go see it. # Jurassic fan promoting the movie. Make it happen, Captain. Thank you for joining me here on Unhinged, guys. Make sure to leave a like, a comment, or subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. Much love from yours truly, and I will see you cats here later on Unhinged.